So for example, with the architecture diagram, I'll go in here and this is a diagram I have here. And this is the version I have. So what I can do here is maybe, for this one here, I want to, and you can see here the push pins. So, it's looking at the location. I want to say, look at wrong color. Please set to green. Actually, let's set to blue. Clouds are blue.
SmartBear blue.
SmartBear blue, there you go. There we go. So I'm going to set this as a defect because, and again in here as well, I can set this severity and this type are all ones that I've added in. I can customize this as well. Some people don't see it as a defect. Some people see it as an issue, as a case. I'm going to set this as a minor. I'm going to set this as text. I want to set it as text. So I found a defect already. Now, other things what I can do here is I can set up good diagram. So an overall comment, good diagram. If I could spell now, it'd be good. So a good diagram. I can also say, look at got all machines correct. So I'm doing, and again, you can see here, this is doing it by a push pins. So you can see here, you got the little icons here, all right? So you got the little icons here as well. And that relates to the conversation you're working on. Now I can go and add comments into that as well, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm doing on the left-hand side, I'm adding my comments in here, right? So I'm doing an overall comment, and I'm doing a section. So I'm doing a particular section here, and I'm also finding defects, right? So that's one kind of area that I can work with. So for example, I've got my push pins, I've got my information in here as well. So that's how you would kind of do a review on an architecture diagram. As I said before, and I'll show you again, the versions. So again, once you upload a new version, there will be a version control. So again, it'll cache that new version and old version inside the Collaborator. So you can see here as well, I've got my location and information in here based on what I've provided inside. I think we're getting a bit of an earthquake, Jack, are we?
There's a bit of construction going on.
A bit of construction, so ignore that. But you can see up here, as it says, the defects are logged based on the actual document and also the location of that, right? So everything is being documented. If I go in here to my Word document and show example again, so again, maybe I want to set to 1.1.1. So I'm missing a dot. So I'm going to add it in here as well, right? So I'm able to find particular issues and update based on standardization. So you will have a standard, maybe a standard template, and maybe as part of that template that's corporate, maybe it's a 1.1.1, but now in here, you've only got 1.1. So now I'm setting that up there as well to make sure it adheres to the standardization that you have built into your company, all right? So as I says, this is all customizable, all working. And again, I've got an image here as well that I can change the banner. Change banner. So these are all kind of areas that I can work with, all right? Now, how do I then go and do that? So I found one defect inside of my architecture diagram, right? So let's go into my architecture diagram and let's set this back to, let's change the color here. And change the color, it'll be good. Go down here to graphic format, and I'm going to go into fill. So I'm going to change this from, that's a nice color. I think that's good. I'm going to save that now, and I'm going to upload again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this to the existing review, and once I've uploaded that, then I'm going to save that for a second. I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to go and begin the review, and once I begin the review, the reviewer will be notified, right? And again, the reviewer will be notified inside of here, okay? And it can be notified by email, or if I look in the RSS feed, he can say that the review is ready for inspection, right? So the whole thing here is that based on the review, we can then go and look at, for example, 104. So inside of here, as it says, I'm in here as Bob the reviewer. So he's the reviewer that we added in the initial review. And again, you can see here, it's now an inspection. So I'm going to go in here and just have a look at what else I can find in here. So if I go in here to this document here, and again, you can see here previously that it was orange, now it's blue. I'm going to say, look at, as part of this review here, I'm going to say, let's go back in here. I'm going to say, look at, should be green. I'm going to add as a defect. So again, I'm working with the information in here that it actually will find defects earlier on in the life cycle and work with that.
So we have, Damien, just I suppose an example here. They're talking about a PDF with diagrams. For circuit diagrams, it's important to see if a connection between electronic parts has changed between versions, and that's what you're showing here.
Exactly. So if say this line here goes from a solid line to a dotted line, for example, you know, maybe there's an indirect connection to the different circuits. We can do that. So inside here, I can say, look at, previously this was a solid line, now it's a dotted line. So you know, why is that? So we can go on to do the pinpoints and say that there as well. So it's the whole thing is that it's not tied down to a particular section. You know, because we've got these push pins, it's really robust in where you would point that to, okay? So I'm going to go back in here to the review, and as I says again, I'm going to send this back to rework. So I found a defect inside of here as well, and I want the author to go and modify that. So I'm going to send that back to rework as the author, or sorry, as the reviewer, and now you can say it's back as rework, all right? So based on that, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this here. So I'm going to go and change this from blue to green as per the reviewer's information. I'm going to save that. So again, I'm going to upload this up to my file. And again, as you see, it's very, very simple to do. And with the plugin, it's even easier again for Word and PDF and Power. I'm sorry. Let's see here. Something happened there. Let me close this down. Let's try that again. So what I can do here is I can upload the file. And basically, as I said before, oh, there we go, something happened there. Basically, as I said before, what's going to happen is that the review is going to work with them finding any issues with that. So as I says, once I go into review 104 again, we can see here, for example, that the diagram, and again, you can see here with the status, every time you do rework, that status will be updated, right? And I'm going to, as it says, I'm going to go back in here as a reviewer, and I'm going to send this back to inspection. I'm going to go and send this back to inspection now for the reviewer to review, okay? So the reviewer will then go and review the file. I'm going pretty fast here because I'm just looking at time.
Yeah.
So again, I'll go in here and I'll see that it has actually changed from green, okay? So I'm going to mark this off as fixed, and I'm going to mark everything else off as fixed. So the whole thing here is that, and you can see here the previous versions will be stored here. So these are all the previous versions of the architecture diagram, all right? So if I go in here again and show you. So if I go in here to the previous version, I'll go in here, this in here, you can see here is blue, all right? And the new version is green.
And all the comments
and all the comments
are logged.
Are all logged here. Yeah, exactly, Jack. So when I go back in here to review and send to completed, and you can see also here, everything is documented. That's the whole thing we talked about documentation before. So everything is documented. So I'm going to send this back to completed. And again, I've just touched on PDF. I've looked a little bit at Word documents. But again, same thing with your JPEGs, your Excel spreadsheets. So for example, looking at the Excel spreadsheets, you can see here, all right? So you can see here some of the Excel spreadsheets that I have here. This is a CSV file.
And it's something I think it's worth mentioning that document review is really a strong part of our roadmap. So in our next releases of Collaborator, we're going to have native PowerPoint support and Visio support as well for document review. And just as the releases go on, you can expect to see the document review feature expand and get better and evolve, because it's something we take really seriously, and it's something where we see great growth for Collaborator.
Exactly. So again, it's been improved all the time. So you can see here now I've got it completed, but also what it's done is actually saved to a zip file. So what it's done is it's actually compressed this review and created a report, and also compress the documents that you have reviewed. And that will all be saved inside a zip file, and you can send it out for auditing, etc.